Mamma mia! We're here at Disney's Hollywood Studios to try the new menu at Mama Melrose's. Hopefully we're left saying, that's amore, on this Disney Dining Review. Before we get to it, I want to remind you this is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content and you want to support us, book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. Get a free, no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And if you want extra content from the DIS team, head over to patreon.com/DIS Unlimited. Hello everyone, I'm Craig Williams. Today I'm joined alongside by Rhino and Hannah, and we are eating at Mama Melrose's. I have been here recently, I believe it was last year that I reviewed the restaurant. Rhino's never been here, and Hannah has also been here. I don't know how long it's been since she's last been here, but I know Hannah enjoys it. I enjoyed it the last time I ate here, and hopefully we're walking away making sure that Rhino had a good time and his belly is filled with Italian food. Now you might be asking, what's Mama Melrose's? Well, it's an Italian restaurant that's deep back in the heart of Disney's Hollywood Studios, just by the exit of Muppet Vision 3D, past Pizzerizzo. Like, it is all the way back here, and I believe it's been back here since like 1991. It's a long time. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. And you know, it's a remnant of the days where you had the streets of America all around, and it feels like it's part of the park that could easily go at any point in time, but it's still serving up Italian food. Now with a new menu, and hopefully we enjoy it. I love the decor inside. It's very, very old school Disney's Hollywood Studios. You might even call it Disney MGM Studios in that way. You might have a Michael Eisner sighting while you're in there. Not like sitting down eating. I would find it hilarious if they just forced him to sit down and eat every day, and that's his punishment for whatever he's done in life. But maybe we'll see Michael Eisner in there. Maybe we'll see other celebrities, and I cannot wait to try out this food. Mamma mia, that's amore.
Mamma mia! I've never been to a Mama Melrose before, and I'm definitely being a mama offensive, so I'm gonna stop it right now. So, I used to work at Disney's Hollywood Studios. I worked here from the year 2007 until the year 2015. Late 2015. 8 years to the day, almost, in fact. But and I worked at Lights, Motors, Action. And the reason why I'm telling you this, Lights, Motors, Action and the Immaculate Tour, is because I used to basically, I used to work just within the air. You used to be able to smell the wafting of the Italian flavors through the air when I would be greeter at Lights, Motors, Action. And I remember all the people saying, like, oh, the older people that I worked with saying, you know, the ones who got that money, saying, oh, Mama Melrose, we love Mama Melrose. And, you know, it's been one of those things for me, a bingo card for Disney. Thank you. Where I've wanted to go here because of that history I have with this park and how long I wanted to be here. And I can tell you, when we walked inside, I was like, I have never been inside of the foyer. Like, maybe I saw it through walking past, but walking in, I was like, it's got some charm to it. I like the lights. I'm a sucker for some dangling Christmas lights that you leave out all year, which these definitely are. Probably this is where the remaining Osborne Spectacle lights have been heading. But I like it's got a lot of woods feel. It's dim without being dark, and it's very, I feel like the word is cliche, generic, almost stereotypical Italian restaurant vibe to it, which is it feels a little, homely isn't the right word, because I think homely sounds like a hug, but I was told in high school it means ugly, and I called a girl homely once by accident, being like, no, you're great. And she was very insulted. So I've learned I use that word very incorrectly, but there's sort of a kitschy, fun, friendly atmosphere to it all. So I like it in here in terms of the atmosphere. We've sat down, we've got a server, Kathy, who is incredibly friendly. Might be Katie, I'm not 100% sure. I'll get back to you on that one. I'm pretty sure it's Kathy. But first things first, when you sit down, we look at the drink menu. And so for me, she recommended the Italian Surfer because there's, right now on the back of this menu, not the Disney app menu. The Disney app has way more drinks. This has 4 specialty cocktails, one of which is Mama's Margarita. There's a Bellini cocktail, a red sangria, and an Italian Surfer. I asked about the red sangria. They said that it's not made in-house, so I said I don't need to try that. A Bellini is a Bellini. So the 2 options were Mama's Margarita and the Italian Surfer. You know which one I maybe would have got, but I didn't. I got the Italian Surfer. It's Di Serono original liqueur, Parrot Bay coconut rum and pineapple and cranberry juice for $15. Now, this is not normally a drink I would order. I don't usually like rum. Parrot Bay coconut rum is the first liquor I ever tasted. So when I sip it again these days, it reminds me of being age redacted on my friend's basement floor in Massachusetts. I've got both a love-hate relationship with it. So I don't think the drink was that bad. I thought it was going to be like super sweet. It had I love Di Serono, so I feel like that flavor kind of came through in the drink. So I wasn't completely unhappy, but it does still come off a little. I feel like when you add a lot of, like pineapple juice specifically, it can get very filling in a drink. And so I feel like there's a lot of that in there. So it's not bad. If it sounds appealing to you, I think it's worth getting. Like I would recommend it. So that's how I feel about that. Hannah, what'd you get to drink?
It's Martini Mom here, but today it's Martini. Wait, no, let's redo that. It's Mama Margarita, which is what I have for my beverage. But first, I'm going to tell you about this lovely atmosphere. I'm going to take you down trip on memory lane here. I miss the backlot. I miss the Osborne lights. I miss that Hollywood Studios from my childhood. And when I walk in here, this is it, baby. Like, this is that last, like,
Bygone
the bygone era of Hollywood Studios, the Michael Eisner version that some of us know and love. But yeah, it has that backlot feel to it. And I think that is why it's maybe a little bit cliche or cheesy, is because it's supposed to look like we're on, like, a movie set right now, and you know, we're eating Italian somewhere for a movie. There are movie posters on the wall that are in Italian, so there's Gone with the Wind, there's a Charlie Chaplin poster on the wall. So
That's City Lights.
is it? Is that Charlie Chaplin?
Yep.
No. Okay, see, there we go. Speak a little Italian. No, I don't. Not at all, I do not. But no, actually, I love it in here. I'm kind of new to Mama Melrose's. I have been before, but it's been recent years. And the first time I came in here, I was like, this is amazing. This is the Hollywood Studios I miss. They do have a new menu here. We'll dive into that. It's very different than my last experience. Anywho, back to my margarita. I had the Mama's Margarita. I don't believe this is new. I think they've had this on the menu. It's one of the specialty drinks that Rhino mentioned. Our server recommended it. It's $16. It's made with Jose Cuervo traditional tequila, limoncello, those are your Italian bit, fresh lime juice, sweet and sour, and orange juice. And I feel like it was a solid margarita. I do feel like, you know, you could taste the tequila. It was, you know, not overly sweet, not too much of that sweet and sour. My only critique would be that I wish the limoncello was a little bit heavier. I feel like that's what made this drink unique. I feel like if you're doing limoncello, like, you don't also need the sweet and sour and the orange juice. I feel like that was maybe overkill. But I still think, you know, it was a solid cocktail, especially if you're looking for a margarita. $16 for Disney prices. I feel like that's what you'd pay at one of the carts, you know, that sells margaritas here at Hollywood Studios. So, hey, I'd rather have it in a glass with salt in the air conditioning. So it was all right. And that's all I have to say about that.
Hannah, you were close to what you were saying about this restaurant. This isn't like it was a set for the movie, but the backstory of this restaurant is that Mama came over from Italy, and she took her dad's recipes and established an Italian restaurant in Hollywood that eventually all the stars started flocking to, and it just became like a mainstay of Hollywood. And I've probably told it on every single review of this place that I've ever done, but I've actually eaten at a place off of back in Hollywood. I don't remember what the name of it was, on Sunset Boulevard, I believe, that basically had the exact same look and feel of this inside. So there's some truth to it in a way, but I didn't get a cocktail. I might for dessert, because the ones that were on the menu were not appealing at all to me. Even the ones that Rhino and Hannah ordered, nothing sounded good. And I'm not just going to drink for the sake of drinking, but I did eat a lot of appetizers that will probably end my life early, especially with the way I was eating it. Thank goodness there's no proof of how I ate it, but we tried 3 of the new appetizers here, including the mushroom artichoke cheese dip, the house garlic bread, and the fried mozzarella sticks. So with the fried mozzarella sticks, you get 5 mozzarella sticks on a plate. It's served with a little cup of marinara sauce and a little cup of lemon aioli. It's $15. These are, I think they've been around for a little bit. They're not like, they're new. These were basic mozzarella sticks, and the lemon aioli, if you think maybe that makes it interesting, you're literally dipping a mozzarella stick in mayonnaise. And did I do that multiple times? You bet I did. But this 5 mozzarella sticks for $15. That was a travesty. The house garlic bread was a big long piece of garlic bread with roasted garlic spread, Parmesan, and marinara sauce for $10. I feel like the price is right on that. It was cheesy. It did have garlicky flavors to it, but it's hard to not compare it to Tony's, so I'm not going to, because otherwise I'm going to say just nothing nice about this. But it is a good shareable appetizer. How about that? And finally, the mushroom artichoke cheese dip. It's served in a little bowl like a spinach artichoke cheese dip with goat cheese, tomatoes, and toasted crostini for $14. This Rhino's going to talk about it probably at length. It did look like dog food. We'll just get that out of the way up front. Or cat food. Sorry, cat food. Don't want to be offensive to dogs. Offensive to cats. It looked like cat food, but it at least had flavor to it. The mushrooms kind of got lost in there for me, except for the texture, but the cheese and artichoke pulled it all the way through, especially that goat cheese. So of the 3 appetizers, that's the only one that I would do again. But they're all options. Honestly, I'd say maybe now at this point, they are options. I would say maybe skip the appetizers. They don't advertise it, but if you ask them for bread, they'll bring you out ciabatta rolls that are barely cooked, but still also super warm. They're I'll let Ryan discuss that if he wants. It comes with a little olive oil with more seasonings than I think come in one bottle of seasonings, and then butter on the side, and I like that better than any of the appetizers. And that's all I have to say about that.
Speaking of the appetizers, the bread, I would agree with Craig. I think the bread that's if you ask for it is free, I think. So brought to you by the movie Powder was what I was saying, because they are the whitest pieces of bread that I've ever seen. But I did enjoy the dip with the olive oil and the seasoning. I don't know, basic but good. I think for me, the 3 appetizers that we got, I didn't really like the mushroom and artichoke cheese dip. I didn't feel like it was when I think of artichoke and cheese dip, I think of that stretchy kind of cheese pull that you get, and this didn't really have that at all, and it was a little salty and a little cat foody for me. And then the mozzarella sticks, I'm not a mozzarella stick guy really, so there's got to be something a little unique to it. They were also a little too firm, so it felt like it was just biting into string cheese, and I think they were just served like that. The house garlic bread, though, it reminded me of when you do it yourself at home and you get that one specific type of bread, you just slice it in half, put the garlicky, the butter, and then you just dump the cheese on it and make it in toaster oven. So it had a very again, I almost said homely. It had a very homely feel to it. Homey. No, that feels wrong too. All right, I don't know what. But I would say, yeah, I don't know that there was anything worth getting for an appetizer for me. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well, Craig was right. They were options and they were appetizers. I agree with Rhino. I would just get you free bread and move on. My only caveat is they do have a new burrata salad, and burrata is a delicious, heavenly cheese that can do no wrong. It is $14 though, and it's a salad, so that would be hard to share. So maybe if I was treating myself, that's what I would do next time, but we'll never know because I didn't have it. The garlic bread and the mozzarella sticks were definitely great value brands. No shade, I eat that at home, but I don't want to pay $15 for it at the Disney World. So I wouldn't recommend that, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but you just need to go to Tony's. Craig alluded to it, I'm going to say it, get your mozzarella sticks and your garlic bread at Tony's, okay? Sorry, Mama. And homely is not a compliment. I just, that's all I have to say about that.
If you thought we had nice things to say about the appetizers, well, guess what? We're now on to the entrees. And I think there's only going to be one person that speaks at least positively about their entree, and that's actually me, believe it or not. But I also got the most basic one that I could have chosen. I went with the rigatoni bolognese. It's made with ground beef, Italian sausage, Parmesan, and obviously rigatoni, as Rhino refers to it, spaghetti, because we learned that Rhino calls any pasta noodle except for elbow macaroni spaghetti. I'm going to have to sit in on one of his therapy sessions to figure that out, but we'll see that. $26 for this dish. Holy cannoli. That's not what I'll be eating for dessert. I can already tell you that much, but I'd have another bowl of spaghetti. Yeah, okay. Okay, so the thing about this is it's just basic, but I will say that the ground beef and Italian sausage mix was adding a little bit of spice overall, and the red sauce wasn't offensive that was with it. I think I had something with red sauce when I ate here last year, and I didn't mind it then. I didn't mind it now. I just needed a little extra cheese on mine to really kind of take it up to the next level. If I would have used the red pepper flakes, that would have also, added a little extra spice on it as well too. I would get this again if I was here and someone else wanted to eat here and I had to choose one thing. I would choose it, but I also would not go out of my way to come here. And I also can't be like, oh, I had this great rigatoni, everyone needs to come here. It's not at that level. And well, it's kind of different because last time we ate here, I remember being like, I can't wait till we get to go back again with Rhino one day. And now I feel like I let him down. And that's all I have to say about that.
I was very excited to come and eat here. As I've said in the beginning of this video, I've been looking forward to this. This is definitely like checking off a Disney bucket list for me. And I'm sad today because it was like, I probably won't come back again. I'm going to be honest. But the item I went for my entree is margarita. Nope, that's not what I got. The item I got for my entree was the prosciutto and honey pizza. It's described as Parmesan, ham, red chili flakes for $22. A little pricey for a pizza, but hey, prosciutto. I thought it'd be pricey. Here's the thing about me too. Anytime there's like a prosciutto pizza, I will order it. Usually, honestly, it's usually like prosciutto and oregano, and then not oregano, arugula, and drizzled with
balsamic.
Balsamic, thank you. And I love it. I'll try it wherever I go. This was not really that case. It was a lot of diced ham that came out, which is in the description, and that's fine. It says Parmesan cheese. I think there was, but there was like definitely a consistency of ricotta when you bite into it, which is fine because when you go to the make your own pizza places, I usually am like, can you add a little ricotta into that mix for me? I like it. But there was just something a little bit off, like flavor wise. I will say the red chili flakes did add that little bit of spice I liked from it. I wish that it wasn't honey on the pizza though. I wish it was hot honey. I think that would have made a better, I think maybe that's what they were going for, obviously, but I think it would have went a little bit further if they had done it like that. But so I asked for red chili flakes or the pepper flakes on the side here. Well, and now they're on the table. And I am glad I did because adding those definitely made it better. But I will say this, the crust of the pizza is pretty solid. In Florida, I think it's pretty hard to find a good, a genuinely good pizza. And I will say this definitely has a unique crust to it. It was had that, it's a little more on the doughier side of it, but still being firm and crispy, not undercooked. So I did enjoy that. But overall, for $22 for this pizza, I don't think I'd recommend it. And that's all I got to say about that.
So for some reason, going into this, Craig's like, Hannah's having an osso buco, and come to find out, it was a Office reference when Jan makes the 4-hour version of this. And you know what? It's on.
Best episode.
That's your best episode?
Yeah.
It's a good one. I like the one where they have the fake fire drill and they throw. Staying alive. Or wait, no, that's not the one he sings, is it? Anyways, it's not. That's one he should have sang.
Wait, yeah, it is.
You can tell by the way. So, but I will tell you, I'm a little offended because being compared to Jan on The Office is almost as bad as being compared to Pam on The Office. There's your hot take for today. So anyways, I did it. I ordered it's braised pork here. It's not lamb. and it's served with creamy polenta, roasted onions, sweet peppers, and some sort of lemon thing I can't pronounce. It's $30. And when it came out, and I'm not a connoisseur of ossobuco. I've had lamb versions of it before, and I know that a pork shank is kind of fatty, but like it came out and it just looked like it had some fat to it, okay? And if you're weirded out by meat, like sometimes I get weirded out by fat on meat, and I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Like I'm not going to tell you what it looked like to me. But anyways, as Craig pointed out, probably need to be cooked a little bit longer. Like it wasn't that buttery, melt in your mouth texture. I think that's also why the fat wasn't reduced and why you could kind of see it flopping around. You'll see in the video. And then also the polenta was already like congealed when it came out, which I mean, whatever. But just, wasn't too easy on the eyes. And I can confirm that with the taste. The lemon that was on top was like a lemon zest, and there's a lot of it. I got a big bite of that first. So it was like the lemon was very overpowering. The best flavor came from the reduction that the polenta in the dish was sitting in. I for $30, don't do it. I thought the flavor was okay, and it was a big dish. That's the best I can say about this, okay? And I'm like, guys, I gotta just be real with you. I am like tired and sad of giving bad reviews because I actually love eating at Disney. I spend too much money eating at Disney. And in fact, the last time I went to Mama Melrose's, when the menu was different, I was like, I love this place. This is such a hidden gem. I want to come here all the time. And now I wish I would have come more because all the pastas I like, I'm not seeing anymore. So anyways, I'm not sure what I would recommend, but not what I had. And that's all I have to say about that.
The end of the meal brings about the dessert menu. So there's 3 of us, which means there were 3 desserts. And we got 3 new ones. 3 new to this restaurant. It's new to me, period. It's fine. We got a pasticotti cream tart, which is described as house-made tart with pastry cream and frangipane dusted with powdered sugar, served with an Amoré cherry compote for $10. And then the flourless chocolate cake, which was almond flour paired with vanilla gelato and blood orange sauce for $10. And then we got the goat cheese mousse tart, topped with honeycomb and an edible flower, was served with blackberries and a cassis compote for $10. I would say of the 3 of these, I didn't necessarily dislike any of them. I will say the flourless chocolate cake was definitely a little light on that blood orange sauce. It had like a candied orange, like sitting on the top of, like the peel of it, on the top of the whipped cream or whatever it is, frosting. And there was some sauce underneath, but it wasn't enough to overpower because this flourless cake was very dense. I didn't feel like the orange came through on it very much. But I thought in terms of a flourless chocolate cake, I thought it was just fine. Not a big chocolate cake guy myself, but I did enjoy it with the gelato. Always happy to have gelato. The goat cheese mousse tart, I think, was the favorite at the table, and they'll all talk about it. For me, I don't think I'm a super big goat cheese person, just because it can get a little like tangy, like really tangy, and I feel like that's where this was headed to. I mean, it had a nice whipped consistency to it, which was and like paired with the honeycomb and that cassis, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't my thing. I'm glad like we were all sharing because it was just one of those where I'm like, I can't imagine eating one of these for myself. But my favorite, which is not the favorite of the group, was the pasticotti cream tart. I don't know. This definitely gave me a little bit of like a dense cheesecake sort of a vibe. Not flavor-wise or anything like that. More texture. I liked it with the cherry compote. But again, there was nothing where I'd be like, you got to stay and you got to get this. So for me, I don't think there was any dessert where I'd be like, yeah, get that. But it wasn't like they were bad. I didn't feel like where it was like with the entree, I wasn't in love with some stuff. I think it's just a matter of preference for the desserts here. But I did take a sip of the drink that I'm sure Craig will talk about or already talked about either way. And I thought that was fairly decent. And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, my poor grandmother has that and it's horrible. Anyways, okay, thoughts on desserts. I knew this going into what we ordered, that the goat cheese mousse tart was going to be my favorite. I don't know if I've ever had a goat cheese dessert, but I love goat cheese. I can eat it on a piece of cardboard and I would just absolutely adore it. I thought it was a great tart flavor. It was very creamy. I love that it had honeycomb on top. Honeycomb is delicious. Like when you get honeycomb on like with your charcuterie, amazing. I wish there would have been a little bit more of that. The blackberries were a little tart as usual. I only had a small bite of one and Craig said they probably weren't ripe enough. I'm sure they weren't. I wish the compote, there was maybe a little bit more of that to kind of give it sweetness to go with the tartness of the goat cheese. But I mean, that was fantastic. That was my favorite thing that we had today. I would absolutely order that again. The flourless chocolate cake, I was a little disappointed in. I do love chocolate cake, and usually the flourless version is more of like a mousse. It's very creamy. This was just so dense, like it was hard to cut through. I do feel like the flavor was a little lacking as well. And the blood orange sauce, just like Rhino, I would have liked a little bit more of that just to give it a little something. But it's a giant serve. Giant's a little generous, but it's a big serving and it's a dense cake. I think you could split that with 2 people. Yeah, Giant's a little, giving it a little too much credit there. And then the cream tart, because I can't pronounce that first word because I'm from Mississippi and we don't know Italian in Mississippi. But I'm just kidding, I shouldn't talk smack. But that was weird. I didn't like that. It had like no flavor and then it had this like weird aftertaste that I'm like, what is that? I don't know. I didn't like that at all. I feel like I get what Ryan was saying about having like a cheesecake consistency maybe, but like I feel like I was doing it too much justice. So get the goat cheese mousse tart. That's all I have to say about that.
On the bottom of the dessert list for me is the cream tart. Something about like that almond flavor with it and the texture just, I don't know. It made me like feel reminiscent of when you're at someone's house and you have like a cookie that was made with the same ingredients and you want to be polite and continue eating it, but you don't really like it. And that's how I felt about that. The flourless chocolate cake, I actually disagree with Rhino and Hannah. I thought it had the perfect amount of the blood orange sauce because I could barely taste it, and I don't like fruit and chocolate, so I hear Rhino saying it behind the camera there. So yes, I don't like fruit and chocolate, so it was the right balance for me. But that being said, a flourless cake is always going to be a little bit on the dense side, but this thing was like dense and dry, so it wasn't my favorite one, but it wasn't awful. The goat cheese mousse tart was incredible, though. I would recommend that if you like goat cheese, and I would absolutely get this again in a heartbeat. Like my favorite ice cream is a goat cheese and berry ice cream. Salt and Straw did one like 6 months ago that was like goat cheese, Marion berry, and jalapenos, I believe, or habanero. And it was like the perfect balance of tangy, spicy, sweet all together. I love any type of goat cheese ice cream. So having the mousse tart version of it, just excellent. But the best thing I had for my entire meal today was my cocktail that I ended the meal with, a tiramisu martini. It should be on the regular specialty cocktail menu, not hidden on the dessert one, because this is what I think everyone would probably order if it would just be on that one. It is tiramisu martini, Stoli vanilla vodka, Camorra coffee liqueur, and vanilla cream in a chocolate drizzled glass. $13. I just put on my regular martini mom pants today, one leg at a time, like you do it, and I chugged this thing down. It was a martini that tasted exactly like tiramisu. So it's just what it says it was, and I'm so happy that I had it. So my dream, come here, sit at the little bar that they have a tiramisu martini and the goat cheese dessert, call it a day.
Everyone's favorite part of the show, the rating system. We're going to start with the ambiance, and the ambiance in here I gave an 8. I actually think for what it is supposed to be and what it's setting out to accomplish, it does that pretty well. I think we talked about it earlier in the video, so I don't know that I need to go into any more depth about it. For a restaurant that was fairly full, though, I feel like it actually wasn't too loud or too noisy, and we were kind of seated like right in that middle section, so I'm taking that into a big account where I was like, I was in there, but it wasn't like, I think because the restaurant's so full and has so much like decorations and things in there, it really does kind of absorb that noise better than some of the other places we've eaten. So for food preparation and presentation, I give it a 7. I felt like, you know, when stuff came out, it looked good. It was fine. You know, nothing, I don't know, it wasn't like sloppy, but it was fine. Quality taste, I'm giving that a 6. It wasn't like there was anything I hated in there per se. Actually, I lied. Hannah's thing was disgusting. It was literally like just chewing on squishy fat and no thank you, no ma'am. And the polenta, gross. It was like little pieces of cardboard in there. No ma'am. My pizza was like, it was all right. So I'm giving it like a 6. And I feel like I'm being a little generous with that. So service, I'm giving a 9. Kathy, she was great. I felt like she was really vibing with exactly, like, she was like, I'm gonna let you record. She never rushed us. The waters were always being filled. You know, she gave out recommendations, whether they were good recommendations or not, they were recommendations. So Kathy, if you ever see this video, you were great. Cost, I have it at like a 7. I feel like in terms of like a Disney, I know I said $22 for the prosciutto and ham pizza, but I'm kind of like thinking about it in terms of like a bar style pizza. Like it's actually, honestly, like including that for a Disney price, it's not terrible. It was a pretty big portion of it. You know, I thought the drinks are right at cost for what mixed drinks are on Disney property. So I feel like it's right at that Disney level of dining. But it's still not like, it's not like you're getting a deal. It's not, I don't feel like there was anything that you're not really getting, you know, it's not like, oh, that was only $5, but you got this huge portion. There was none of that here. Character interaction, 0. I'm gonna beat that joke to death, and I definitely did that many episodes ago. But so all that added up, my total is 37 out of 50, which is a 3.7 out of 5. So it's okay. I feel like I went in with really high hopes, like super excited to dine here, like I said, and it's fine. I'm glad we did it, but I would not. I'm not going to come back. I wouldn't, and I wouldn't really, I don't think I'd recommend it to anybody either.
All right, let's do this thing. Ambiance, I gave it a 7. I really probably should have scored it higher because I love it in there. It is the Hollywood studios that I love and miss all the time. I know I sound like a broken record, but if Disney would just give me back the Osborne lights, I'd forever be happy. But here we are. So I'm gonna give it a 7. Food preparation and presentation, I'm gonna give it a 6. I maybe would have scored it higher because I do feel like, you know, there were some garnishes on things. Like, I felt like everything came out well, except for my polenta. My polenta just looked like it had been chilling for a while. It was kind of congealed. I didn't like the way my pork shank looked. It was fatty, and I'll get more to that right now. When I talk about quality of taste, I'm gonna give that a 4. And yeah, I used to really like the menu here, and other than the goat cheese dessert, I really didn't like anything here today. So I probably could have scored it even lower. And I know I sound like a hater. I'm sorry, I guess I am. But my dish, especially was $30. I don't know. It was a big letdown. Service, I am gonna give it a 9. Just like right now, I love Kathy. She was just like very positive. She my water was always refilled. That's the thing about me. I drink a ton of water. It's like my one saving grace, and my water was always refilled. She was very friendly. She was fun. She was laid back. So love you, Kathy. And then cost, I'm gonna give it a 7. I was kind of on the fence about this because my dish was $30. I guess I get it for what it is, but $30 is expensive. I would have been really disappointed if that was like a treat yourself special meal. And but then other than that, like I was noticing people in there, they ordered like someone would order pizza, somebody would order pasta, and they shared it. And I think actually, all in all, that's a decent value for Disney, especially again, you come in and kind of get a break from the hustle and bustle of being in the park, especially with summer coming. I get it. So that brings my grand total to a 32 or a 3.2 out of 5. I still like this restaurant. I want to give it another shot and order maybe something different next time. I am disappointed because I feel like I just recently discovered Mama Melrose's and I like the old menu better. So anyways, that's all I got to say about that.
For ambiance, I'm giving it an 8. It is, honestly, it's close to being a 10. I love everything inside. I believe I described it as like an Italian Hollywood version of a TGI Fridays, and that goes all the way through that restaurant. Like the fact that there's an Italian poster for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, A+, especially because they put it right next to Empire Strikes Back, even better. And then right below that, there was, what do they put on the license plate? On the back of a license plate, that's what it is. They put those on the back of cars. There was one that said, I love LA. And if you know anything about me, I love LA. And so I love everything about it in there. It's just a little dark, and, you know, I feel like I'd love to see a little bit, I don't know. I don't know what's missing, but look at every single photo as you make your way around. See the Star Wars cast here when the park first opened. Try to find Jenna Fisher in the restaurant. TV's Jenna Fisher from The Office. She's on there. And so is Bob Denver and Jerry Van Dyke. And I think Rhino's favorite was Freddie Highmore. It's a trip of everyone you'll get to see in this restaurant all around. Everyone riding in their cars. What a great time. For food prep and presentation, I'm giving it a 6. It just wasn't really appealing. Like, I almost feel like it was kind of insulting when the mozzarella sticks came out, and someone clearly looked at what they did over at Tony's with how they stacked up the breadsticks there. Like, we're going to do it here, but with mozzarella sticks. And so then it was just 5 undercooked mozzarella sticks that were stacked like they were Lincoln logs. And nothing really impressed me with how it looked. Rhino's pizza, I thought, just looked atrocious. It looked like there was just like crust all around with pieces of ham flung on it. It could have been better. For quality and taste, I'm giving it a 5. So I think I'm just above Hannah, even though I would agree with a lot of what she said. I didn't mind my entree. I liked the same goat cheese dessert. I loved my tiramisu martini. So I definitely had a couple better things. The one thing I'll say that I'm probably being way too hard on, the appetizers, they are about as family friendly as you can get. Almost every table around had ordered mozzarella sticks, and that's what I think a lot of people are going to go for. And really, they're mozzarella sticks. I'd say they're better than like a bowling alley mozzarella stick, but it's not like they reinvented it and it's like a must get. It's somewhere right in between. So really, yeah, I'm being overcritical and kind of a jerk about it, but I don't know. It's when you pay $14 for mozzarella sticks or however much it costs, you want something else with it. For service, I gave it a 9, and Rhino and Hannah were correct. Kathy was great, but the only thing keeping it, because I do think she had a Disney difference, but I don't know. I felt like a couple of the recommendations were off, and our time could have been even worse if we would have taken like 1 or 2 other ones that would have led us down a worse road, because like that calamari, it was stinking up the place, and that was recommended. So, for cost, I'm giving it a 6. I think ultimately it comes down to, I don't mind paying for Italian food, and I know we probably criticize Tony's for a lot of the same thing, but I think ultimately it just came down to the quality wasn't worth what anything did cost in there, so that's driving it down. If it would have been a better quality like the last time I ate here, I would have been more than happy to pay the prices that we did in there, but it just wasn't all there. So that leads me to a 34 out of 50, a 3.4 out of 5, and there you have it. That's all we have to say about that. A 3.2, a 3.4, and a 3.7. And that's it for our Disney dining review here at Mama Melrose's Ristorante Italiano. I nailed that. Nailed it. If you like us and you want to support us, book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. Get a free no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. If you want to get extra Diz content, head over to patreon.com/DizUnlimited. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, leave comments, questions, and video suggestions in the comments section. And if you are listening to this as a podcast, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a rating and review when possible. That's it for us here, though, at Mama Melrose's at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next time with another Disney dining review. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay hungry.
Yummy, yummy.